Surprised, my cheating wife with divorce papers at her secret hotel getaway affair. Hello everyone, I wish you all the best. This is a very long and complicated story. Please excuse any mistakes, as I am typing on my phone. I have reached the end of my patience, and I have no clue how to deal with this mess. Some background: I am a 43-year-old man, and my partner is a 40-year-old woman. We have been married for 16 years. We have 2 children, a 14-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. Our marriage was very rough at the start, but we survived those difficult years and came out stronger from it. We got married young, so we were not very mature yet, but we believed we loved each other and could overcome any challenge that threatened our marriage. I'm still not sure if this was naive thinking. Anyway, my wife is a manager of a very large advertising company for 3 years, and I'm an engineer for 7 years. Both our jobs pay well and gave our family a pretty good lifestyle. We were a very close-knit family. We always made sure as parents that we were there for our children to create great memories. No matter how busy we were, we always made time for our children. Honestly, I think I'm a good father and husband. I made some mistakes when it came to my wife, but I did everything for this woman, and it honestly stunned me to my core when I discovered that she was in a long-term affair. Which leads me to the discovery: wife was acting cold. In fact, the last 2 years before this one were the toughest. She just didn't seem to appreciate anything I did. She kept comparing me to her boss, yes, I know now, and would always tell me how he would handle this or that. Can't read her thoughts? Well, her boss can. Don't take initiative to take her out on dates and make her feel special? Well, her boss does that for his wife. Why was I so childish? I would ask what she wanted me to do to spice up our love life. Her answer usually was, "Don't ask. You should already know and do it." So I researched, bought books. You know, since I was clueless, someone else had to have the answer. Anything I tried was met with either lukewarm gratitude or bitter disappointment. My wife was never like this in the years I've known her, so I thought that inability to make her happy was something I seriously needed to fix. Little did I know it wasn't me who was doing the fixing the entire time. We were very close to her boss and his wife. They also have children, and the children loved each other. We invited them to our barbecues, family outings to the park, game days at the arcade. They have been to our house many times and we've been to theirs. It's no surprise that we became close. I would confide in her boss about our marital problems. He gave me good advice. I thought he was a great guy. Anyway, back to the discovery. I had grown emotionally exhausted from wife's demands to improve myself, or the marriage was over. I was honestly shocked with her attitude because before all this, I thought we had a great marriage. So one night, she was busy laughing and giggling while texting someone. I was next to her in bed and was curious. The moment I tilted my head to take a look, she angrily pulled away from me. She was furious instantly, asking me what I was doing. I told her I wanted to see what the joke was, and she told me it was none of my business and went to the bathroom. I think that's the day when I just knew deep down that there was an affair of some kind going on. I did not have proof though. The next day, I confronted her directly. It was a mistake. She became angry and denied everything. I had no access to her phone, but I desperately wanted the truth. I demanded her phone, and she said no. She only gave me the phone reluctantly later that night. Almost all the text messages she sent to certain people were gone. I could tell because some conversations were incomplete and others made no sense. I returned the phone to her, and we did not talk about it until a month later, when I got a friend to check the phone and recover the deleted texts. My wife had bought another phone before and barely used the one she gave me. Some texts were restored, and I finally had evidence of the affair. And yes, it was with her boss. I knew that if I challenged her right away, she would find a way to escape. So I waited. I was a mess though. I only thought about how it would affect the kids. The situation was terrible, and I sobbed in front of my friend. I still did not want to end the marriage, so 3 days later, I bought How to Help Your Spouse Heal from an Affair. You can laugh if you want. I started reading, hoping that if I gave it to my wife, she would stop this madness. I wanted my wife back, and I wanted to save the marriage. I planned to talk to her on that Saturday to sort things out, but she told me they had an emergency at work and not to expect her. Of course, I called the workplace on the day to verify the story she gave me and got no answer. They were closed on Saturdays. I tried her phone, but no reply. She came back home at 2 in the morning on Sunday and immediately showered and then came to bed. I asked why she was late, and she avoided the question by saying that she already told me not to wait for her. I had enough. I did not give her the book I bought. I was in pain, and she did not care. She saw me in pain and did not care. I contacted her boss's wife to see if she knew anything. I was so desperate for stability, and I still do not regret doing that. She was as shocked as I was when she found out. She wanted to confront her husband, but I told her he would probably lie and try to hide it better like my wife did. We met at her house to discuss what was happening, and I gave her the little proof that we had. She wanted more evidence, so we both agreed to collect more evidence on each of our sides and compare them. I started spying on my wife more, and she did the same with her husband. It was very easy on her end to find undeniable proof. Her husband was so arrogant that he did not even delete the texts on his phone between him and my wife, and the little texts I found earlier finally made sense, and we had a complete picture of how long the affair was. 2 years. The boss's wife was furious, and so was I. She wanted to get back at them, and so did I. They slept together everywhere. Her house, my house, expensive hotels, business trips. It was disgusting to read all that. They even sent each other pics, but we decided to ignore the pics because we did not want to scar ourselves with the images. We wanted revenge, but not an affair ourselves. We both decided that if they wanted each other, then they can have each other. We both filed for divorce at around the same time. We were determined. Our spouses did not know that we knew, and we played our part. By the time everything was ready, they were at it again. This time, through working with the boss's wife, we knew exactly where and how they were going to be served. We knew which hotel they booked for their weekend of fun. I personally went there with the sheriff. I waited in the lobby as the sheriff got everything set up, and my wife was asked to come down from her room. She did, dressed in a bathrobe, and I doubt anything else. She's freaking out, desperately questioning me why I was there. It wasn't too close to our house, but not too far either. The sheriff asked her to confirm her name and details. She answered with a puzzled tone and got the papers. It felt good to see her stunned expression, but I didn't want to gloat, so I turned to leave, knowing it was over. She wouldn't let me go and grabbed my arm, dragging me back and asking what this was all about. I said, "You cheated and I'm done with you." Simple as that. She began yelling at me and tugging my arm hard. The sheriff had to intervene and order her to let me go. She did, and started sobbing, saying she can make it up to me. I misunderstood. It was my fault. I was getting furious, so I hurried to get home. My wife informed her boss, and he freaked out. From what I heard, he ran home only to find the same fate. We didn't give them a chance to sort things out. We caught them off guard, just like they did to us. My divorce will be over in a few months. Hers might take longer. Both my wife and her boss have been resisting the divorces. Neither of them wants to split up. The excuses I get are that they never planned to leave their partners. It was a purely sexual affair, nothing more. People survive worse affairs and still have a happy marriage. They messed up and they beg for a chance to make it right. I asked my wife what she expected to happen from all this. She said she was just following the moment and behaved totally unlike herself. She is not that person anymore. I said she's a fool. People around me are calling me cruel for not giving my wife another shot. My kids are aware of what's going on at their level, and they support me 100%, but they wish we could stay together. My determination is weakening. Living in the same house and seeing my wife go to therapy and read the book I got, it's getting harder to stay firm. She says she's sorry and will do anything. All I say is that she's sorry she got busted, and that's all I need to know. She's called me a spiteful, bitter person who can't move on from all the bad stuff. She apologized for it later, but I know that's how she feels. The boss's wife and I still chat, and my wife absolutely loathes that. She thinks I'm going to cheat back, or her boss's wife is the reason I won't give us another try. She has asked me over and over to cut off contact with her boss's wife, just like she did with her boss. I said she's nuts. We didn't do anything wrong, and why should I care about your views now? See, I think I'm done. I have no respect for her. She still doesn't want to let go and is actively trying to talk to me about her reasons and steps to her affair. I see them as justifications, so I don't bother with her. She wants me to do therapy with her. I read many places where the therapist sides with the cheater, so I was like, no way. She wants me to read books about cheating with her. What is the point if we're going to split anyway? She wants to be close. I told her she was not going to manipulate me with sex. She claims it's not a trick, and she just wants to prove her love for me. I pointed out that she means love me now. Everyone around me is annoyed with me, even my mom, because they say people mess up, and my wife learned from her errors that she really loves me. I told them that I won't be anyone's second choice. I feel terrible for how I act towards her. I still love her, even though there's anger there. Am I being too harsh on her? She's putting in a lot of effort, but I just don't care. Should I rethink the divorce? People are telling me I'm rushing and I'll regret it. Is that true? I don't know what's real and what's not. Story update. Hello again, everyone. I'm giving this another shot because my inbox has been flooded with emails asking for an update. I appreciate your concern, guys. I get your curiosity, and I want to clarify a few things. First of all, my wife and I are kind of okay right now. It's not because we are getting back together. No, I'm still divorcing her. The last update I wrote, which was removed by the auto mod, detailed our situation. The short version is, my wife is still pleading for another chance and is doing everything she can to get it. I won't give it to her because her affair was too long for me to forgive. If it had been a one-time thing, that would be different. But no, 2 years is just an insult. I have attended a few therapy sessions with her because I'm not a cruel person, and I still love her. One session was very good and made me realize that my wife is actually sorry. She hasn't been flawless with how she dealt with the consequences of her affair, but she has been working very hard. Second session was a disaster of her being angry at me for constantly contacting the boss's wife and her fearing a revenge affair. It was the most furious I ever was through this whole ordeal, and we did fight a lot later because I rejected her request, which is no contact with the boss's wife. That was settled when I assured her that there will be no revenge affair. I know she doesn't deserve anything from me, but she's still my wife until our divorce, and I still want to honor my vows. I have been going to a few more sessions with her just to check on her progress. Yes, this therapist is both an individual and marriage therapist. No, I'm not going to these sessions because deep down, I want to fix our marriage. I want to witness my wife's improvement myself, contribute if I need to. After the divorce, I will walk away with dignity. The boss's wife is still divorcing her husband. Her husband is still resisting the divorce. She is as determined as I am, and I will confess we do support each other when we have bad days. I still don't see any affair happening. We are just on friendly terms with each other. That's it. She is a strong and independent woman who doesn't take any nonsense from anyone. My kids are fine. They know that our divorce doesn't mean we love them any less. They don't want a divorce, but they understand why it's necessary for us in a way that suits their age. My wife doesn't work at the advertisement company anymore. She works somewhere else. She quit shortly after I served her. She has been completely no contact with her former boss. According to her, she sought help on forums to save the marriage and followed that advice. I've been reading a lot here, and at first I didn't get why people stayed with cheaters. But after seeing my wife bust her ass to be a better person, I can see the allure. She's not a monster, she's just flawed and made terrible decisions, which she's learning to improve from. She has offered me everything under the sun to be given another chance. I'm not so sure I can do it. The closer divorce gets to being final, the more calm I feel. We recently had a long talk of her asking to have a chance after divorce. She has offered a post-nup. I wasn't totally against it actually, but it would be a very, very long journey for her to travel for me to even think about it as a possibility. She seems quite eager, but I don't see how that would help any of us. To be honest, a big part of me wants this divorce out of a passing sense of justice. It's the only justice I can get without stooping to her level. My mom and I reconciled after I told her more about my wife's affair, although now she's absolutely livid with my wife after learning the details. I don't know how to handle that one. Second update. I was planning to wait until my divorce was done before posting here, but I'm so angry today, and I need to let it out. As some of you know, my wife is terrified of me having a revenge affair. The reason is simple. I'm still in touch and see the other woman she cheated on me with. My wife feels very inferior to the other betrayed spouse. The other betrayed spouse is younger, a model, very beautiful, and has a successful business. My wife is paranoid that I will succumb to temptation and sleep with her as payback. I can't believe the audacity of her to tell me that 2 wrongs don't make a right. She's not wrong, of course, and I don't plan to ever do it, but her double standard makes me furious. Every time I'm going to see the other betrayed spouse like yesterday, she becomes extremely depressed or extremely needy. She has tried to seduce me countless times to make sure that I don't get back at her. I turn her down, and it only worsens the situation. It baffles me that cheaters are this self-centered, only caring about their own pain, while the betrayed have to struggle and try to rebuild their lives. Another thing, our kids are still friends with their kids. I never go to the other betrayed spouses without my kids. But no, my wife still thinks I'm capable of being as cruel as she was and use any chance to have sex with the woman. Absurd nonsense. The other man is still living in their vacation home, pleading with the other betrayed spouse to take him back. I won't lie, it gives me a great sense of satisfaction to see him face the consequences. He hasn't tried to threaten me because of how much I have on him. He has to cope with the fact that I'm still in contact with his wife. He can visit his kids whenever he wants, but he doesn't want to see me, so he makes sure I'm not there, and then visits. I feel sorry for the guy, honestly. Right now, my wife has been very remorseful. She has lavished me with affection, which I simply ignored. I'm not in a good place. We have a therapy session today, and I feel like unleashing all the pain and hurt she has caused me. The anger I feel is overpowering. Third update. I don't have much news to share with you all. Just a few updates on what's going on. I've been looking at my posts and messages here, and I'm grateful for this community that supports people like us. I've also been reading a lot of articles and books about infidelity to get a clearer picture of my situation. The other day, I had a therapy session with my wife. She asked me to give her more time to prove herself to me. She had many reasons why I should at least try to be part of the healing process of our marriage, not necessarily to reconcile yet. I kept reminding her that she was only making an effort now because her affair was exposed. She would never do this if she was still with OM. She emotionally tormented me for months, and I'm not someone who lets anyone treat me like that, even the woman I loved. She admitted all of her mistakes and said sorry again. She has made me many promises of how she will make it up to me. She wants our marriage to be better than ever, and she thinks it's possible. I asked her if she was ready to deal with my anger because I have a lot of it. She said yes, and she wanted me to vent to her whenever I needed to help me cope with the pain. Usually, when I asked her why she cheated, I get a bunch of excuses. This time, she was honest and said there was no justification for what she did, and she would show me every day for the rest of her life that she was truly sorry and would never hurt me like that again. She opened up to me, and I understood a bit that she was really insecure and envious of other betrayed spouse. The affair boosted her ego, and she liked feeling attractive and wanted. She admitted that the affair was just a fantasy, and it was doomed to fail. She rarely thought about the consequences, but sometimes she did. She regrets having the affair, and says she will feel guilty for the rest of her life. She will probably never forgive herself. She told me she was no match for other betrayed spouse, and the reason she was so sure I would cheat back is because other betrayed spouse is not only gorgeous, but she is a woman with morals. Other betrayed spouse never said or did anything mean or threatening to her. It was all my wife's insecurities, and maybe the fact that I was mad at her for betraying me. This is where it gets interesting. The therapist asked me what I needed to consider my wife's offer. I couldn't think of anything. I was honest and told her a time machine, because what I have now is a fake marriage, and I never agreed to it. She told me all marriages face problems from infidelity to death, and it's how those problems are handled that shows the quality of a marriage. I couldn't believe where this conversation was going, and I told the therapist to focus on my wife, not us. The therapist told me my lack of willingness to listen to rational arguments might be a communication issue. I didn't argue. My wife and I had a long talk on the way home. She asked me if I felt less of a man because of her affair. I was really surprised by the question, since she never asked me that before. I said yes. She stunned me by asking if I would feel better if I had sex with another woman. I told her again that I'm not going to have a revenge affair. She said she was talking about a trial separation where I go out and regain my confidence. She will stay loyal and wait until I'm ready to come back to the marriage. I thought she was desperate before, but I found her suggestion insane. She said that it would not harm our marriage if we both saw other people. She claimed that I would not be cheating because we would have a separation agreement that allowed me to date others. I said that was a big gamble for her, and she replied that we were heading for divorce anyway. So this was a chance for me to explore other options. I clearly refused the idea because it was unlike her to suggest that. My wife has been oddly peaceful and tolerant these past few weeks. She's a different person from the one who was always paranoid and insecure. Of course, I don't let my guard down around her for my own good. It's not easy though. She has been very fair in the divorce process, even though she didn't want it. I've seen so many cases where divorces turn ugly, but not mine. It feels surreal to be in this position. It's hard to cope. Fourth update. Greetings, everyone. I'm here to share another update on this miserable situation of my life. Before I do that, I want to express my gratitude to the people who have been constantly supporting me. Right now, my wife and I have agreed to be polite and celebrate the holidays together as a family. It will be the last holiday that we will ever have, even though my wife still wishes otherwise. I did this for the sake of our kids. I love my kids. Our divorce will be official in the middle of Feb, for those who wanted to know. We have divided everything equally, although she has been very kind on her part. I'm not sure if it's a strategy, and she might become hostile later, But so far, she has been nice and admits that it's because I have been a wonderful husband and father, so she thinks I deserve a more than fair divorce given what she has done. That doesn't mean that she will lose a lot from the divorce, but I do get a bit more thanks to her. I have chosen to stop attending therapy with her. It was making her hopeful and confusing her. She has revealed that she has a burning desire to be intimate with me. Throughout the time I've been absent here and her understanding that I felt emasculated and undesirable thanks to her affair, she has been frequently, and I mean frequently, trying to engage me in sex. To tell you the truth, my wife rarely made the first move for sex before this happened, so I felt hurt that she was doing it now. Gradually, I came to value the fact that she recognized this as a problem of mine and wanted to fix it. I've turned her down though, but she doesn't give up, insisting that this is not about getting back together, and she just wants me to feel happy and wanted. I have stopped talking to other betrayed spouse for now, because things were becoming too intimate for my comfort. To the person who suggested that I was having a revenge affair, I suppose you were not far off. I didn't even notice it myself until other betrayed spouse admitted that she wants to explore the possibility of a relationship between us. She said that she would wait for my divorce to be over before we attempted anything. I was very perplexed and had no response for her, so we agreed to take a break from seeing each other until everything is settled. Other betrayed spouse is a beautiful woman, but I don't know if I can reciprocate her feelings. I don't know how to deal with that at all. Someone implied that being with other betrayed spouse was influencing her potential reconciliation with her husband. I promise you that I have nothing to do with her choice to leave OM. She is finished with him, and that's all on her. We don't speak ill of our spouses when we're together. OM recently met me face to face to apologize for everything that occurred. He was always a cocky guy, and this experience really taught him a lesson. I did not accept his apology. Call me spiteful, but I don't care what that moron is going through. I need some advice. Should I sleep with my wife even though we're not getting back together? I can't deny that I crave sex. I long for the intimacy and connection that comes with it. My wife is keen and has been doing everything she can to seduce me. New lingerie, sexting, touching, letters, etc. And sometimes I can't say no. She even got rid of, burned, and replaced anything that was related to OM in my house without me telling her to, because honestly, I didn't want to know exactly where they did it. It's hard for me to turn off these emotions. Is this a trick? Is she manipulating me? Before anyone tells me to kick her out of the house, I have already done that, and I prefer her here because it's easier until the divorce is final. Rant. It's finally dawned on me. Now, for so long, I felt like I wasted my life on a woman who was good for nothing. But she gave me wonderful children and precious memories. These are the things that I will always remember and treasure as a man. But I have finally realized that I can do better than her, and I will do better than her. I have been overwhelmed by people offering me advice on how to cope with this situation. I have finally grasped that I am worth more than her. She betrayed me, belittled me, and made me feel inadequate when another man gave her attention. She literally devoted her energy to another guy. I can't believe I'm finally accepting that I'm over her only now. Now she does everything she can to hold on to me. Now she's putting her energy into us. Now she wants me to be happy when she didn't care before. She wants to be the adventurous one in sex with me now. The sex that we had was mind-blowing, but I enjoyed it. Now I know how much I missed out on. From her text with Omi, I know only the tip of the iceberg about how graphic their trysts were. She wants to show me how much he loves me now when she has been lazy before. Lazy sex speaks for itself. Now she respects my independence and cheers me on in whatever I pursue, when before it was all about demanding my attention and expecting me to provide for her at the same time. Now she appreciates my limits and does everything she can to enhance them. Now she treats me like the royalty I always wanted her to see me as before. But no, I had to knock her down from her throne first. Now she's the perfect woman, but it feels like it won't last. Now she shares everything with me without hiding anything. She is painfully honest too, even if it will hurt me or humiliate herself. I don't think I've ever seen any woman with a constant look of guilt on her face before. She regrets this affair so much. I can see how much she hates herself every day. I can see the despair on her face when I'm not responsive to anything she does. She looks so unhappy, especially when she tries to conceal it. It makes me loathe myself sometimes, but to me it's necessary. Why can't I see this as a good thing? Why can't I evaluate her for her actions now? They show repentance, right? Many people have LTAs and come out stronger than before, right? Why am I making my decisions based on emotion and not a place of mature rationality? Someone else will end up getting the better and improved version of her while I enter another uncertain relationship. Why not fight for this when everything seems to indicate something positive and a future? These are the lines I've been fed, and I have one answer. I will not tolerate disrespect. Maybe I was willing to in the early stages of discovery, but I snapped out of that quickly. This is to answer the people who have PM'd me and regularly asked about my situation. I'm going to enjoy this Christmas with my whole family and then leave my wife. I decided to stop believing the nonsense I created in my head to keep my wife's hold over me and move on completely from the idea of her. I will not be dating her or giving us another shot. We are done for good. I like to say that my wife isn't a bad person, and that is true. I want her to be happy too, but it will never be with me. She has proven that to me. I have called OBS today and invited her to dinner after the holidays for her support when I hit rock bottom. She said she would love to. I know this stuff doesn't happen often, but we really helped each other through all of this, and I owe her gratitude. Before people start talking about how much I planned this with other betrayed spouse, I honestly did not. My emotions have been so messed up this few years that the idea of another woman never crossed my mind. And it's dinner, nothing more unless we both want it. But the closer divorce gets, the more I realize I actually have choices, and one choice has been right there. What about OM? I don't give a damn about him at all. I don't give a damn about him at all. I don't think I will marry again, and I will tell this to any woman. Even though my divorce hasn't been much of a trouble, I am losing a lot of money still. The whole concept of marriage seems like a scam to me now. Sorry for being so bitter right now. I don't want this post to upset anyone, but I'm still resentful. I gave my best years to this woman, and I'm starting to realize how little I received back. Happy holidays. I'll be silent for a while. Update. Now, we are officially divorced. It has taken a lot of time to get to this point. As I mentioned earlier, I will be updating this blog for the last time. My ex and I are done for good. It's been almost 3 weeks since we split. I felt like I was mourning a death for the first few days. I hadn't sobbed that much since I found out about the affair. I was also very angry. It was one of my darkest moments. I arranged everything for my ex, mostly for the sake of the kids. She left the house, and I'm planning to pay her off for her share. She's living in a flat now. It's a huge step down for her, and it makes her miserable. She's still seeing a therapist, still obsessed with reading and learning about infidelity. I don't get why. We had long conversations before and after the divorce, with little physical touch. I know I shouldn't give her any attention now, but she's still the mother of my kids, and I want us to co-parent well. I'm being rational about the situation, thanks to this community and others, but she keeps singing the same song. She wants to get back together, and I think it's too dangerous for me to go there again. Sadly, I'm not feeling generous enough to grant her that wish. This past weekend, I went out for dinner with another betrayed spouse, just to have some fun and chat. We talked about all kinds of things. Things got playful between us, and I have to say, I was hesitant to go along with the changing atmosphere. Well, I suppose I should say the night ended very intensely. I'm sorry for the TMI, but it was probably the best sex I've had in my life. I didn't want it to go this far. Other betrayed spouse was open to it, and so was I. I learned a few new things in the sack too. It was the first time I had someone who was so excited to please me, and not vice versa. I'm not sure I should call her other betrayed spouse anymore, since she's divorced, but for the sake of privacy, I'm just going to use it. I don't think we're going to take our relationship any further, to tell you the truth. I guess the hormones and the wine got the better of us that evening. She would, but I'm not so sure. I'm still sorting myself out emotionally, and so am she. I feel really good. Some of you may not like to hear this, but sex with other betrayed spouses really helped me overcome some of my long-term self-esteem problems. I felt wanted, alive, and finally knew what I had been missing. I never want to have robotic sex again, but more satisfying is knowing that I wasn't cheating and I didn't lower my standards. All in all, I'm really proud of how well I handled all of this. I know I'm not perfect, but I did my best. I'm probably pretty lucky compared to most BHs, even though I lost a lot of money in the process, but that's because I listened to people who had experience instead of just blindly going into this blindly. For that alone, I'll never begrudge you guys for lending me an ear. You saved me from further damaging my self-esteem. Takeaways. Sure, I can try to reword that for you. Here is one possible way to say the same thing with different words. Asterisk. You are worthy of respect. Do not let anyone treat you badly, especially those who are close to you. Asterisk. You deserve a relationship that makes you happy and fulfilled. Do not accept anything less from your partner. Asterisk. Sex is an important part of a committed relationship. If your partner is not giving you their best, but they did with someone else or in an affair, do not put up with it. Just tell them how you feel. If they are not willing to change, do not settle for boring sex unless you both agree on it. You have the right to leave if you are not satisfied. Asterisk talk. 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 This is so crucial. I cannot emphasize it enough. Asterisk. If you ever face betrayal, you are the only one who can heal yourself. It took me a long time to learn this. There are more, but these are the ones that come to my mind right now. I will be here to answer any comments you might have, but in a few hours, I will stop posting here for good and move on with my life. Update. Things are meh right now. Okay, I can attempt to reword that for you. Here's another way to express the same thing with different words. Asterisk hi everyone. I have received a lot of emails from people who wanted an update on my situation. I have been avoiding anything related to infidelity because I still get triggered sometimes. With that in mind, I'm still healing from the trauma. I don't like to linger on something, so I've been staying away from this site and others in order to move on. However, since there are so many people who care about me, I will calm your worries and give you an update. I'm fine. No mishaps, no disappearing from the world. I'm still in IC. Other betrayed spouse is still my girlfriend. She resolved her case with OM regarding child custody and finances. She could have been spiteful and taken him for everything he had, but instead, she dealt with that situation gracefully. There is some conflict between the children over all this. We are doing our best to handle it. We have started their therapy to make sure that they adapt and understand that the relationship other betrayed spouse and I have does not affect them, but we do value them when it comes to how this situation is managed. This is very hard, because not everyone is on board my daughter. My ex and OM do not enjoy being near each other. I honestly think both of them hold the other responsible for how things ended up. And I'm not joking here. There is friction when those two are close to each other. My ex still wants another chance, and is probably mad that other betrayed spouse is blocking me from seeing things clearly and not giving up on everything we had forever. This woman is so delusional, I'm seriously concerned about her actions. She tried something at a 4th of July party a friend of mine hosted. I stopped it, but I guess not strongly enough. I did not trust the people that said she would be longing for me, but you guys were right. She wants to come back to me badly. Other betrayed spouse is letting me deal with that, but she's fed up with my ex too. Did I mention my ex despises other betrayed spouse with a fury? I really believed that my ex was improving herself for the better, but ever since I dumped her for someone else, she's been a mess. That's what I still don't understand. I treated her better than I treated anyone else in my life, and she treated me like garbage. But the moment I basically say she doing somersaults trying to get my attention, I don't know if it's something I should be angry about. Well, that's it. Y'all can relax now. I am worried about my daughter. I've been searching for some reliable advice on how to handle the problem I'm facing. You can look at my previous posts to get more context, but I'll give you a brief overview here for your convenience. My former spouse cheated on me. It lasted for around 2 years. In that period, my former spouse treated me poorly and often contrasted me with her OM. Our intimacy declined from what it used to be, and I first assumed that I was the one at fault for my flaws. Finding out about the affair was a shock, but I didn't rush to end things with her. It was only after she lied to me and went to see OM one weekend that I decided to leave her. I contacted other betrayed spouse, and we helped each other to divorce our cheating partners. We told our kids the truth in a gentle way, without giving too much details. We said that mommy broke a promise to daddy, and that we still love them very much. They were sad and confused, which was natural, but they handled it better than I expected. My ex-wife kept begging me to take her back, but I had no desire to do that. I forgave her, knowing that it was not my fault, and I wanted to move on with my life as soon as the divorce was over. It was expensive, but I didn't lose too much money. I have to say that after the divorce, other betrayed spouse and I started to see each other. It began as a casual thing, but it became more serious over time. If it wasn't for our mutual support during the crisis, I might have stayed with my cheating ex. Or worse, I might have killed myself. I always talk to my kids and try to understand how they feel about this. I make sure they know that they can be honest with me, and that I won't be upset if they don't like my relationship with other betrayed spouse. I don't want to put them in a difficult position that will affect them negatively in the future. My son, 10, is fond of other betrayed spouse. My daughter needs more time to adjust to the new situation. She's 15. She says she wants me to be happy, and that she doesn't want to get in the way of my relationship with other betrayed spouse. I tell her that I want her to be happy too. If she doesn't like other betrayed spouse, she can tell me, and I won't mind. She says she's fine with other betrayed spouse, and that she just needs some time. We have had many conversations with them about healthy relationships. I have had many conversations with my daughter about her fears and worries. So far, she seems to support me. Other betrayed spouse and I are very discreet with our relationship so as not to overwhelm all the kids involved, my son, daughter, and her 2 daughters. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is in therapy, even OM's separate issue altogether. You can see that this is a very strange situation, which brings me to my daughter. The affair and the choices I made have damaged the relationship between her and her mother. She tells me that she hates her because she is the reason why everything changed. She is very rebellious towards her mother. She doesn't want to go with her when it's her turn. She ignores her mother's attempts to show her love. She even swore at her once, which made me intervene and tell her to be respectful, which she did in that case. They have had many fights, and I'm very worried about how my daughter is coping with this. The ex-wife is trying her best, but she can't do much by herself. She wants me to help her reconnect with her daughter because it was my decision to divorce. I could remind her of her cheating. It was her fault. I'm better than that, but it makes me doubt how I handled this situation. Things that I'm worried about. Asterisk daughter doesn't respect her mother. Asterisk daughter wishes things were like before. She doesn't know her mother abused me. Asterisk daughter is in therapy, but I don't know how effective it is. I'm worried that she feels powerless and overwhelmed by the situation. Asterisk. She has dealt with my relationship with other B. Update. Hey everyone, I appreciate your concern for me. I know you've been sending me messages and chats, but I haven't been replying. I'm not active here anymore, but I'm aware that some of you have been wondering how I'm doing. I'll give you an update, but don't expect a fairy tale ending. Let's address the big question first. How are things between me and other betrayed spouse? Well, they're amazing. If I had known there was a woman like her out there, I would have searched for her a long time ago. I'm kidding, of course, but seriously, I've never felt such a strong connection with anyone else. My ex-wife messed me up so much that I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. I still have doubts, but other betrayed spouse has been supportive and understanding. She's an incredible partner, and I love her deeply. She makes me feel valued, and I do the same for her. We're not more than boyfriend and girlfriend, though. I'm still wary of marriage. We're keeping things low-key and not involving the kids too much in our relationship. But yes, the kids know we're dating. Speaking of the kids, it wasn't easy at first. That's an understatement. But they've gotten along much better now. I think it's because we've been very involved in their lives and made sure they had someone to talk to when they had issues. And therapy, lots of therapy. My daughter and son adore other betrayed spouse. She's great with kids. Her kids like me a lot more than they did 2 years ago. Her youngest even calls me her stepdad when we go out. That caught me off guard. I was afraid she felt pressured to see me that way, but she said she liked me a lot and I make her mom happy, so she's happy I'm her stepdad. That made me very emotional, but I didn't show it. I enjoy seeing my kids play with other betrayed spouses' kids. They gang up on my son sometimes, who is the only boy and the youngest. I'm not sure if I should find that funny or not. What about my cheating ex-wife? We're on good terms. She's been working hard to fix her relationship with her daughter. I was glad when my daughter told me she forgave her mother for what she did. They've been through a lot and they've improved a lot, but I don't think my ex-wife has accepted that we're over. She still seems to hope for another chance. She's been working out and going to therapy. She looks healthier, but I don't care. I've moved on from the past. She can't keep living in it. She talks more with other betrayed spouse now, and other betrayed spouse responds, but she's always wary of her, and she should be. After everything that happened, other man is a lost cause. I didn't realize what a jerk he was. He has a lot of money, but no sense. He has a girlfriend now, but his kids hate her, and they don't hide it. It took me a while to see how arrogant he was. I don't like his girlfriend either. She seems very greedy, selfish, and mean to the girls. So, to sum up, we're doing more than okay. I won't lie, I had my doubts if this was the right thing to do, but with a lot of effort from everyone, it's working out great. No fairy tale ending, just happiness. That's it, folks. You can relax now.